stomach sick. He'd spit in my mouth and call me his slave. That is what they do. They program you. You don't know why until later. It could be anything. It happens at all levels. They fragment your mind and can trigger you to do things with a single word. Is this like MK Ultra or something? I asked. Don't think you're so smart with your conspiracy theories, but yes, it is, Monarch. She said. Don't be stupid. We're all MK Ultra. She added. What do you mean by that? I asked. So stupid. She said. NPCs. She added. Remember any TV shows with a healthy family or healthy real role model characters? She said. You don't realize calling it fake news is just to mock people. She continued. If feminism is about supporting women, wouldn't they be happier now? Nobody's happier now. She said, crying. If it's not a product placement, then it's just another session of fear-based trauma mind control. She said, and the worst is when you get your own personal handler and parents who only birthed you so they have a bargaining chip and something to torture. This was all hitting me hard. I put some chill music I had downloaded on my tablet on. I was just sick of this and wish I could do something to bring the good vibe back. This was supposed to be a vacation, not a nightmare on an island. She said the butterfly is like a logo. It represents the split mind, compartmentalization. They target families with generational abuse because we are more vulnerable to disassociation from reality. We need to be. The butterfly represents a symbolic transformation or metamorphosis from a caterpillar to a cocoon.
See, I am
representing dormancy
in this window.
to a butterfly, the new creation. Did they take you to some military base or something? I asked. No, she said. Most of the programming happened at home from her dad and a psychologist and her ex-boyfriend in an apartment in the southern part of the city. This is the guy that called her a slave. He worked for the government. I started getting some paranoid ideas. My mind was racing. What is my role in this? I asked. She didn't answer. I would later realize what my role was. I have to say that I didn't feel targeted. Something was just off. Everything just started so fast. It had been like she had just picked me out of a crowd on the street and just love bombed my life relentlessly, killing me with kindness. But there was a streak of dread in all of this loving attention. I felt like I was attracted to the light of an anglerfish, and my intuition knew that there was a set of huge, sharp teeth that were eager to feast on my soul. My feelings were split. While my intuition felt this way, another part of me questioned my sanity for feeling it. This is the essence of calculated gaslighting. Just go, she screamed, and she got up and pushed me. I stepped back. I am not stupid and would not even defend myself when a female swings at me or pushes me, because I know how the story will fall later. Where am I going to go? You want me to leave in a rental car, meet back in Copenhagen? I asked. The woman from the hotel came down. Is everything all right? She asked. He won't leave me alone, Aline screamed like an evil shriek while pointing at me. The hotel owner asked politely that I leave. I left. This was a weird situation. I am away with my so-called girlfriend, walking alone down some empty one-lane road on some Greek island. I had a lot of thoughts, honestly. I was feeling like the abuse she had survived, the damage, and whatever dark spiritual parasites she had were starting to infect me. I had a headache. My back and thighs had a strange pins and needles feeling. My throat was tight. My stomach was twisting. It's times like these that I realize why some people drink. My head literally hurt. I made up a name for this. Brain break. After about 20 minutes, I sat down. I pulled out my phone. Dang it, no headset. But I opened iTunes and played Row Your Boat by Yellow Wolf. This is not some promotion of that song. It just helps me sometimes. I love the line, the media they feed to you graffitis up your vision. So true. So true right now. And I mean, right now. I walked back. When I got back, she was lying in bed. She got up and came to me. Sorry about that, she said in a shy, sweet, girly voice, and she hugged me. And that was it, for now. We went out for some lunch and chased the sun to see a sunset at a new beach. It was an amazing day, excluding the state-sponsored mind-controlled trigger, demonic possession, and mental instability. We had tried a few beaches on the western side of the island the first few days, and decided to spend the second half of the week in a more resort area on the eastern side of the island. We thought that the more built-up hotel environment would be more tacky, but honestly, it was beautiful. Everything was within walking distance, and the beaches were gorgeous with warm, clear paradise water and powdery white sand. The evenings were beautiful. The palm trees would be blowing in the wind. And, my God, the stars were like a free light show of wonder. I looked up a lot as we walked along the beach at night. The second night, we were at a cafe by the beach. It was called the Fig Tree Cafe, and it was amazing. Just cool vibes. There was a table a little bit down and closer to the beach where a character kept looking at us. He kept repeating into his phone, Eileen, Eileen, Eileen. And this was a strange coincidence. I noticed Eileen was very uncomfortable and wasn't eating what she ordered. I ate hers. I can't resist. It was good. Can we just go back to the hotel? I feel sick. She said, okay, let's get out of here. I replied. We handled the practicalities and bolted out of there. I overheard two people at the table where the man had been talking on the phone. Hey, you know Elvis is in town this week, said one. Sure, and I hear Bigfoot is doing the warm-up, said the other. This was strange. Everything was so beautiful and paradise-like, but the energy was just bad. I normally have such high and positive energy. Eileen seems to either bring me way up or take me deep down, almost like hell sometimes. I think I am in hell when I'm with her. Later, I would find out why, and it was not knowledge that would make anything better. Monday morning, we had to catch our return trip. Despite many strange moments, I did not want to go. I liked our little piece of uneasy paradise, but real life has to happen too. At the airport, a man behind me in the security line said to me, Jason, try to keep it together. He was another passenger. I asked him what he meant by that. He didn't answer. How do you know my name is Jason? I asked. He spoke to one of the security guards and said, this man, while pointing at me, is harassing me. That's it. He is telling an authority figure that I am harassing him. I step back and keep my mouth shut. I am getting used to this. Later, I would discover that there's a word for it. DARVO. It's an acronym for Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim Offender. It's a nasty tactic. I sure can say that there's a lot of coincidences and unnerving when I am in the presence of Eileen, that weird look of hers. Sometimes
what gives the government
the right to control what I'm breathing in. How can you fly? Either she is a shapeshifter, or my mind is playing tricks on me. 9 states, including California, Colorado, Idaho, Nevada, New Mexico, North Dakota, Texas, Utah, Wyoming, currently have active state programs. However, right now, North Dakota, all the states that are top here, introduced a bill that wants to label weather modification and penalize those crimes. Keep in mind, North Dakota had a hail suppression program that was running since 1960. When we arrived at the airport, we go to the baggage room. I didn't see that. What's up, Skywalker? What is up, Indy? Friday, February 21st, 2025. In a recent video, I showed how dolphins really open that train to Kentucky, and then we saw the unprecedented flooding. And we see this time after time, storm after storm, and the result always catastrophic. We know that trend weather modification together. Part of the climate chaos agenda. I don't know. Problem phenomenon of confirmation bias, where you see something everywhere because you are aware of it. This is like if I say half of the cars are black Teslas, and tomorrow, surely it seems like every other car you look at is indeed a black Tesla. The other alternative is much worse. It is that this is all somehow by design and coordinated. But what does that mean? Is this gang stalking agenda real? Are people paid to harass us? And particularly Eileen and whoever she is in the company of? Or is this some kind of spiritual warfare where dark spirits whisper people to say these things and whisper in the ears of people who know to help them see that text messages in specified terms to magnify the effect of the campaign? Further, what is the goal of this harassment? Do the spirits just want to keep us in a state of fear or unease? And for what? Is the theory of the Luch real? This is the idea that there are dark spirits in this realm and they feed on human misery and fear. Turn on the news, war, sickness, accidents. All the worst things that happen on the planet are described, photos shown, so that every day these things are in your mind. It doesn't matter if it's 1942, 1982, or 2022. The names and the places change, but the story remains the same. War, sickness, accidents, political infighting. It's your daily dose of anger and fear. It's a wonder that more people don't just turn it off and live their lives with a smile. Thanks, softening. Accredited individual to take it to a new level. People turn it off. They apparently even going to a foreign country doesn't seem to reduce the stalking. And then the power is that spiritual question. So many questions. Am I just imagining this? Maybe I am crazy. Maybe I'm transformation psychosis. Maybe I know too much now. Your heart knows something is off, and the tightness in your neck, twisting, knotting in your stomach, and pins and needles sensation running up and down your legs and back knows something is just not right. I get this feeling from Eileen. Maybe it's when I resonate with her on that frequency. She brings it to me, this realm of abuse. It's a realm of psychological and spiritual abuse that is just subtle enough to make you think you're crazy and just strong enough to drive you crazy, all while the anglerfish light blinds you. And if you mention it, you're blamed. The safety is always off on the Darvo trigger. Like at the airport, address the abuser and you will be accused of being the abuser. It's the way the game works. Figure out the game and your reputation will be smeared with lies on top of more lies. You are playing it. Nobody tells you the rules. Nobody wants you to know the rules. You have to figure it out. And eventually you do. And that's when they want to destroy you. So we're back in the city and I realize that Eileen is starting to lose herself. Each day that passes, she gets more and more unpredictable. One morning she wakes and says, I had a dream my father attacked you with hedge clippers. Good morning to you too, I say. I realize that I have to be very careful with my words. This is called walking on eggshells. It seems that whatever I say is somehow used against me. If I ask her to do anything, she accuses me of guilting her into whatever it is. I try to get her out each day. One afternoon I say to her, come on, let's go for a walk. And she replies, I'm not your dog to take on walks. Wow, she knows how to make a low vibe mood in any situation. What happened to my sweet girlfriend? Was she a Project Monarch victim? Or is she just trying to get attention with that story? So many questions, but I can't even ask her to go for a walk without upsetting her. And when she does join me, I feel like we're being followed or watched, and someone always says something to knock me off my square. One night, a couple weeks after we got back from Greece, Celine wakes me up in the middle of the night. I look at the clock, 3 a.m. on the dot. She is convulsing. Seriously, this is like an exorcist schema. Her hair was all stringy like a crazy person's. That's a weird touch. It's all just so weird, like it's scripted. She runs in the bathroom, and I chase after her. She pushes me hard. I know never to touch a girl, even in self-defense. You know how the stories go. She runs in the kitchen. I follow her. I tell her, 5-second breath. Take a 5-second breath, baby. The butcher block is there, with a big kitchen cutting knife on it. I see it. She sees it. The weird thing is, I got an impulse to grab it, but I didn't, and I wouldn't. Her psycho eyes stayed on mine, while her hands leaped to the butcher block and grabbed the knife's handle with 2 hands. But she did not lift the knife. It all happened in an instant. But the war in her mind was so apparent. Her skin was glazed with sweat, our hearts beating heavily in the dark stillness of the bewitching hour. I softly took her hands and walked her out of the kitchen and into the living room, and we sat on the sofa. I did this saying, let's go in a room where there's no knives. Things would never get better from here. Well, not as long as she was around. If all that stuff did happen to her, I realized that she is cursed. One day I would take ayahuasca and see her demons. But for now, I just had to witness all the evil, sick craziness that these demons create. Her demons comfort her. She can call them anytime she wants, but she's not mentally strong enough to do it. She is very weak against them, and they have our whole realm to operate in. I don't think she realizes those demons only can possibly have the power that you give them. They have no power over her or any of us on their own. It's not the first time it's happened, but it would definitely not be the last. I actually got her agoraphobic butt out of the apartment for a walk. There was a protest. It was a group that was holding signs resisting the vaccinations for COVID. We started to walk in that direction to see what it was about when Arlene suddenly turned and stomped off. I ran after her and asked, what's wrong? She replied, you just care about the world and not about us. Everything is walking on eggshells with her. Everything is a double bind, blame shifting, lies, belittlement, catastrophization, manipulation, passive aggressive abuse, and projection. It's just a regular day in her dark world. Honestly, I was starting to think life would be better without her. She left. She went back to the apartment, packed her stuff, every last thing, and left. She texted, I just crossed the street and almost got killed by a bus. I am really scared. That would be the last time she leaves, because she never came back. That night, I was so upset, I called my dad and just talked and talked until I fell asleep. I know it's bad style, but it was like my whole world was folding from the inside out. I had been trying to love a very damaged person who was infested with dark spiritual parasites. These dark spiritual parasites move on to those close to her. I tried to love a girl who will never love herself. She's a demon and an angel. She's a demon because she brings pain to whomever is close to her. She's an angel because she is a mirror that can wake one up spiritually and develop a renewed spiritual awareness. Depending on who you are, you will join the hordes or become a light worker. A couple days later, I get a call and the voice says, I know you're part of some organization, Jason. What is the world coming to? And then have a nice life. And the caller hangs up. This was weird, really weird. I still hear people singing the Row Your Boat song, but I learned how to tune it out. We are architects of our own reality. And in my reality now, it's all love and light. This is what I choose. If you ever meet someone that says everything that seems too perfect but makes your gut twist with dread, they might just be a pretty little liar who wants to feed on your soul energy. There are many infected with spiritual parasites. Millions, hundreds of millions. Stick around with such a person, and you will be infected with that spiritual parasite also. It can be removed, but it is not easy. There are things you would rather not have to learn about. Trust me on this. A little forbidden knowledge is interesting, but too much of it is, well, too much. Save yourself a trip to hell and just walk away from bad vibe people as soon as your intuition sounds the alarm bells. Your intuition will not come as words or messages. It will come as a feeling. Listen to it. This is the divine sending you an important message. 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 To my forest friends, thank you for listening to another horrible tale. Dusk is a time of transition. It is an owl's wake-up call. And as the shadows grow longer and darkness takes over, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Be still in the storm, and I promise you, you will be safe. Please help this channel grow to 10,000 subscribers by ripping at the subscribe button and scratching a comment. I read every single comment scratched here, and I look forward to visiting here on the Smoking Owl Tales channel on another night very soon, on another night very soon, on another night very soon, on another night very soon. Chances are, there actually is a monster in the house. Yeah, and we don't need a portal to let demons in. They're already here, but only have the power to which we give them. Also, the attention we give them. In 2022, it's probably best to focus attention on things that shine and not things that shade. So stay tuned for this gruesome affair, the monster in the living room. Finding yourself in the talons of an owl in the shadows of the forest moonlight. It's a gruesome affair. If a demon enters your house, does he present himself or herself as a demon? Dark, consume your life energy. Everybody is given your doorbell announce that he is a parasite visiting to try to ruin your life. No, a demon presents itself as something fun, something youthful and sexy. Something other people do. No one seemed to know where John called home. He just drifted into the town and stayed all alone. He didn't say much. He was quiet and shy. If he spoke at all, he just said hi. His name was John. And you realize that when the devil can't get you, he sends his demons. Sometimes. One day he's back in New Orleans. A fighting man sometimes
got Sweeney, John got us, and gave him a rail, and got back to the promised land.
Oh, just to distract you. While you're busy enjoying the show, you want on your narrow path to where your soul wants you.
And then one day there was a nuclear bomb and everybody, and they got wrong. I meant to say that they got sins. The only one not burned, that was him. That was God.
Breeze on the cold tiles, and I always risked stepping on a pill bug. There were cold dead ones around.
He got sent to Vietnam, and then it was over. And he got sent to Kosovo in the water. And then back when he was Panama, he got all the war. And then the
that would keep the demon or monster